Welcome to part 2 of our mini-series called The Road Trip. And if you missed part 1, please go look on our YouTube, on our Facebook, you'll find it there. But I just want to welcome you. I'm Paul from Lifeconnect, and we believe life is better connected, and we're excited to have you share with us this morning or this evening or whenever you're watching. Really good to have you with us. Now, last week I told you I was watching a message by Stanley called "The Rules for the Road," and it just spoke to me and it resonated with me, and so I adapted that and came up with this road trip message. And my trusty old steed is still next to me because this is my weapon of choice when I do a road trip. And like I said, V and I, my lovely wife, we just love discovering new places and going on these road trips. But now we were dealing with a couple of rules, and we said, first of all, take Jesus with you, invite him on the journey. Then we said to you, don't pick up strangers, be careful who you're journeying through life with. Now actually it wasn't don't pick up, no, it was point number 2 was don't travel alone. Okay, get the right people with you. And point number 3 ties into don't travel alone, and we're going to go more into the people you're traveling with that you shouldn't be, which is point number 3, don't pick up strangers. Now, what is a stranger? Well, a stranger is someone who's strange, okay? That's a little bit weird. He's even stranger than what you are. A little bit weird, a little bit different, an outsider. Someone who doesn't belong. Now, the Bible gives us a lot of guidelines on how to love about strangers and loving them and feeding them but when we got people, strangers that we're making part of our life journey, or we're letting people in that are going to cause us harm and not do good, then that's a stranger you don't want in your life. I don't know about you, but I don't pick up hitchhikers anymore. It's just too dangerous. But as we go through life, we tend to pick up hitchhikers, people that we latch onto or invite them with. We don't know them really well. We don't know what their motive is, but we invite them on a trip with us. And you know what they're going to do? They're either going to trip you up, get you off course by changing your direction, or they're going to destroy your walk. So you need to be really wise who you choose. And you can't disqualify everybody, because that's what most will do. Okay, I'm not going to allow anybody. Sorry. What you need is discernment. Okay, you need to be able to look at people and then get this feeling, get this thought, and react to it, because you can't just open the door to anyone and say, come in. This is your life, for goodness sake, and your life impacts other lives. So you've got to be really careful who you're picking up. Some of them are going to come in and they're going to be a negative influence. They're going to get you to come to a grinding halt. They're going to lead you astray. But discernment is a gift from God that alerts us to danger, and it keeps us on the right track. It prevents us from being deceived. And we just got to learn to tap into that discernment. And that comes from having a close relationship with the Lord. In Ephesians 5:6-10, it warns us against this. It says, let no one deceive you with empty words. For because of these things, the wrath of God comes upon the sons of disobedience. Therefore, do not become partners with them. For at one time you were in darkness, but now you walk in the light in the Lord. Walk as children of the light. For the fruit of the light is found in all that is good and right and true and try to discern what is pleasing to the Lord. Can we just be really brave right now? And can we be honest? And can we identify the strangers in our life? The ones who are making your life less healthy. They're making you act differently. You're thinking, you're speaking differently. They are just a stranger or a hitchhiker. And they're influencing who you are, and you're becoming someone you weren't meant to be. Do you have people like that? If you do, I can only say this. Let them go. They don't belong there. They're causing harm. They're causing harm. Now, with any road trip that you undertake, there's got to be a destination, right? Otherwise, we're just going in circles. I'm so sorry. I've got this frog in my throat again. Sometimes, I'll be honest, I just like climbing on my bike and riding. I like turning off and seeing where I'm going. I like getting lost because then I discover new places. I find a freedom in just riding and not having a destination. But when it comes to my life, okay, and I've got responsibilities as a pastor. I've got responsibilities as a husband. I've got responsibilities as a father and as a grandfather and as a mentor and as a friend. I want to make sure I am giving and doing the best with the life that God has blessed me with. Because of people like you and my family in my life, I'm not going to be taking chances. I don't want to end up in Depression Alley or Dead End Crossing or Broke Down Valley or Desolation City. I don't want to end up in those places. I want to end up where God wants me to be, because then I'll get there in the best possible condition, and I would have brought everyone who matters to me with me. So I'm going to choose carefully who I'm allowing on my journey. No to strangers unless God says pick them up. So you really need to be discerning. Point number 4 is choose a destination and borrow a map. Okay, now some of you are younger than what I am, and you don't know what a map is. You just like got Google Maps, and we had the old school ones where you had to unfold it and try and plot your way. But man, just borrow a map. If it's a Google map, it doesn't matter. Just get a map. Where you are going, you need to know where you're heading towards, and you need to know how you're going to get there. You can't just randomly move through life and think you're going to hit every goal you've set or reach the destination. No, we need wisdom to reach the destination. And God, in His infinite wisdom, has given us the gift of choice. Okay? And it's because we've got choice that we can be confident in knowing that God is not forcing us. God is not manipulating us. God is not pulling strings, because God has given us a choice on where we're going towards. And that just shows us that God is for us, because He doesn't want to enforce Himself, but He wants to be with you, and He wants you to reach a place that He has set there for you. But He gives you the opportunity to decide, I want to be at that place with God or not. And once you've got this destination, you get to decide how you're going to get there. Some people are going to take the shortest possible route because they want to get there in the shortest possible time. Others take a scenic route. It's like when you go on holiday. Some people jump in the car and rush to get there. Others, their holiday starts when they get in the car. They make the journey part of the holiday, and they set themselves up on that journey to see places, to have experiences. You see, they're setting goals for themselves, and they know, when I get to this town, I want to see that, I want to do that. When I get to my final destination, I want to get there peaceful and restful, and then we're going to do A, B, and C. And if you don't decide on your destination, you know what's going to happen? You're going to drift. You're going to be heading here, but you'll drift off course and end up over there. Life, circumstances in life, people can make you drift from your destination, as well as your destiny. I almost said dynasty, your destiny. You've got a God-ordained life ahead of you, with a God-ordained plan for your life. But if you don't know the goal, you don't know the destination, you're going to drift from where God wants you to be. There's this well-known saying, and it is this: direction, not intention, determines your destination. You can intend to go there, but if you're not directed there and you're directed here, you're never going to reach there. Your direction, not your intention, will determine your destination. So what are we saying? Know where you're going and aim yourself for that place, and eliminate everything in your life that's going to prevent you from getting to that destination. You can have the best of intentions. Without the right direction, you're never going to hit that place you wanted to hit in life. You could also say, discipline, not desire, determines your direction and your destiny. Desire comes and desire goes, because you're going to desire to be this or to be that, and desires change, they fluctuate, but discipline stops you from getting caught in the drift of life, because you know where you're going, you're determined to get there. You're not going to be hearing from the GPS of life. You turn, fine, turn off at the next exit, go left again, turn right, so we're heading in the right direction. You're not going to hear that. You're going to have the inner peace knowing you are on the path that God has set for you. And when you reach your final destination, you know what you're going to hear? Not the GPS of life. You're going to hear the voice of the Father saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant." But if you want to hear that, you have to learn to say no. And we battle to say no. We battle to say no to people and to situations because we're so scared. Oh, they're not going to like me, or I'm not going to be accepted by them, or whatever. You need to say no to protect yourself. You need to say no to temptation. You need to say no to some people. You need to say no to some of the things that you have been doing. And some of the things, you know what, you're going to say no now, but it's not forever. You can get to that stuff later. Maybe, you know what, you realize, I'm busy being discipled here. So for a time, I've got to say no to go into a bar with those people and go and attend that. You're going to have to at times say no to certain people. Say, I'm getting over some personal weaknesses, but when I'm stronger, I'll connect with you again. You see, we got to become people who are willing to say no for the sake of ourselves and our family and our destination. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to own up to this one. I don't often ask for directions. It drives my wife insane. We generally never ride with a GPS on the bike or in the car. And I've got a relatively good sense of direction, but every now and again I get lost. And I hesitate, I don't know why, to ask for directions. I get a feeling, let's try this road or that road, and half the time we even get more lost. But what if I was able to stop and ask someone who has traveled that road before, someone who has been on that journey before? You know, there's people that have journeyed to places we're heading to. There's people who have journeyed through things we are dealing with. There's people who've been lonely, people who are divorced, people who are raising kids alone. There are people who battle to quit drinking. There are people who suffered rejection. There's all sorts of people out there. What if we asked them for directions for the part of the journey we find ourselves on? If we knew they're going to help us, why don't we just stop and we look at their map and see how they got through it? Let them warn us. Let them guide us. We don't need to have the bad experiences. We don't need to hit the same obstacles and be tripped up by the same pitfalls. If we'd only learn to ask people who have journeyed that way before. Their experience must count for something. Now, Vernon Law is a professional baseball player, or at least he was, and he said, experience is a hard teacher. It gives the test first and the lessons afterwards. And we don't have to fail the test. If we would only ask people who've made the mistakes that we can stop ourselves from making, if we got their input. Solomon, and we spoke about him last week, about his son, but we used some of his quotes. He was a wise guy, really wise. And he says in Proverbs 19 verse 20, listen to advice, okay, and accept discipline. And at the end you will be counted among the wise. If you want to be counted amongst the wise, stop, ask for help, look at someone else's map. It's going to be beneficial for your journey. Number 5, pay attention to the signs. Now, you know, signs are not suggestions, they are instructions, they are warnings. Okay. Maybe speed signs are like just a minimum standard you have to achieve. Okay, well, no, cut that out, okay, because people are going to think, oh, okay, I don't want to have any legal cases. I don't want to have people say I'm sinning because I speed. But signs are there to guide us. Signs are there to warn us. Signs serve a purpose. And we all ultimately believe in the signs of life. Well, we believe in the road signs. All of us actually do, even though we disobey most of them. Now, we all know what a solid white line looks like, don't we? Now, what happens if you're riding this way and a guy's coming that way and he overtakes a vehicle on a solid white line, or he overtakes you on a solid white line? What is your first thought? You idiot, how stupid can you be? Can't you see you can't overtake here? But then not much later, you get stuck behind a slow car. And you think to yourself, man, I can see ahead, and although it's a solid line, it's safe, and you overtake. And you justify your sin, but you complained about his, because you value that sign. You just interpret it differently for you. It should warn you, and it should be there to guide you. And we believe in them. We just don't always follow them. Proverbs 27 verse 12. Again, Solomon says, the prudent see danger and they take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. I love it. Let me read that again for you. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Again, you know, if you've got discernment, then we pick up on the danger in life. We we get this feeling that something is wrong, something is not right. You know what? That's a sign. That is the sign God is giving us. How many times haven't you ignored those signs, those feelings, and just kept going? And as a result, how many penalties haven't you paid in life? According to the Bible, you're simple if you ignore the signs. It's a nice way of saying you're intellectually challenged. We need, ladies and gents, we need to pay attention to the signs. We need to pay attention to what we are seeing, what we are feeling, because they're all talking to us. They're warning us. There's danger ahead. Be cautious. Stop. It is all warning signs that can either obstruct our journey or completely derail that journey. Where do we get these signs? We get them on the road we're traveling through life. We get them in our friends. We find them in our relationships. We find them in our choices. We find them in our work. We find them in our character. These signs are all over. Why does God make use of signs like that? Because God has got His best in store for you, and He wants to make sure you reach your destination. But if you don't take notice, if you don't dig a little deeper into that sign, if you don't do something about that sign, then the choice you've made is on you. Some of us have perfected covering up signs, turning it over, turning it around, blatantly ignoring it. And we say things like, don't bring that up, or I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I can deal with this. It won't be so bad. Hopefully this time it's different. And we've got all these warnings, and we've got all these moments of blatant disregard for the guiding of God. Man, when I wrote this and I was thinking about it, I was like, guilty, guilty, guilty. And I found myself still doing it. But now I realize signs are there to protect me. Signs are there. It's God's way of saying, I care for you, be careful, and hey, I'm with you. Signs, folks, are important. Take note of them. The last step, step number 6, is don't carry unnecessary baggage. Man, baggage slows you down and it costs you plenty. I mean, it's tough enough getting through life, getting to our destination, but when we're carrying extra weight, man, we're making it even harder. So we're carrying hurt, we're carrying unforgiveness, we're carrying offense, we're carrying regret, and it's weighing you down, and it's slowing you up, and eventually that stuff is going to stop you dead in your tracks. Your journey is going to end because of all this weight. Deal with the past, otherwise it's going to deal with you. Just get to a place where you can make peace. Let me let you in on a secret. The people closest to you can tell you if you've got any unresolved issues. The question is, would you be willing to ask them what baggage they see you carrying? And then would you be willing to do something about that? In Ephesians 4 verse 31 to 32 it says, get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ forgave you. Now, Paul didn't write this because he had some space left. He wrote it because it is important, because it affects our life, it affects our family, it affects us in the present, and it's going to affect us in the future. If we don't get rid of all of this stuff, your destination could end up being different because you've been weighed down by the baggage. And your baggage it's impacting others, and it's taking the space of other things you should be taking on your journey. It takes up the space of people close to you, and it's not fair if they are not part of the journey forward. It's not fair if they are being impacted because of your inability to deal with the baggage. You know it, just like you, I was impacted by the baggage of my parents. I can impact my wife by the baggage I carry. I was impacted by the baggage of my friends, and I probably impacted their life with my baggage. That's not fair. But you get to change the narrative. You get to write a different ending. You get to have influence in your life and in the life of others. If you feel people owe you, if you feel people owe you a past, if you feel people owe you a debt, if you feel people owe you an apology, or people owe you for a broken heart, I'm pleading with you, close that account. Your books of life are never going to balance if you don't close those accounts. They don't owe you anything, but they got a hold of you as long as you think they do. Close those accounts, balance your books of life, and get direction for your journey. So our 6 points have been: number 1, invite Jesus. Number 2, don't travel alone. Number 3, don't pick up strangers. Number 4 is choose a destination and borrow a map. Number 5 was pay attention to the signs. And number 6 was don't carry unnecessary baggage. Which of these 6 rules do you need to follow the most? And what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because God has got a brilliant plan for your life, and you get to choose to follow His plan or be diverted. And I pray you set your eyes on things above and you let God direct your steps. Thank you for tuning in, for listening. Please share this message. Thank you for connecting with us. We love you.